Alright, welcome to the JubbTalk portion of this video. This was a minor conflict part 2. It was part 2 because there was a version of this many years ago that I did called a minor conflict. And the similarity between the two is they both feature rather cacophonous percussion parts, and the pitched portion is in A minor. Ta-da! So this is an interesting piece to talk about some of the routing capabilities and whatnot that I have here in the Max Patch. A lot of the pieces utilize these techniques, but this one kind of puts it really nicely in a way that is easy to show. And so one of the first things is that I can send the same performance data to as many different loops as I want, up to the 5 that I have. So for example, in this first piece, the first loop is actually being sent to these 2 loopers, and they're actually being sent to different destinations. This is to one destination, this is to 2 different destinations. So they're all getting the same performance data simultaneously, but going to different places. And over here, these 3, these are all going to the same destination, which is the percussion device inside of that I'm using inside of Reason. And so because it's percussion, I want to utilize all 12 pitches. And so I have 3 of them, and our first stop into the pitch quantizer, I have all 3 of them set to different notes. Each of them has 4 note choices, but they're all different. So that means that whenever I play one note here, it's actually going to choose 3 different notes because they'll never land on the exact same one. Some of them are subtle because they're, differences between like a high tom and a mid tom or whatever. But they are all different. And in addition to that, through the use of the loop length selector, I can take a technique that I borrowed from Steve Reich and do some phased looping. So what I mean by that is each of these is set to a different loop length. And so as I play that one note, when it comes back around, they start to separate out into the 3 different notes, and they start to drift further apart and then kind of eventually come back together. Although this one's a little more complex because the 3 durations we have 12.5 beats, 12 beats, and 13.25 beats. And so that kind of makes that a little bit wonky as well. But let me show you what that means here. Get a little setup there. And so I'm just going to hit one note. And so you hear it start to separate, and you hear that it's 3 different. It's made 3 different note selections. So that's pretty much how that works. This one I use it to much more chaotic effect. Sometimes it's a little more subtle, but I do use that on 5 of the 7 pieces that are on this album/video series. So that is all for this video. Tune in next time when I talk about cutting edge technology.